We go. Okay. And if you're not comfy with that or you want to turn off your camera, that's okay too. So because we're going to be covering a lot of things that you might want to go back and just double check on. So we've talked about making sure that your names are absolutely correct on your cruise confirmation. First name, middle name, last name is 100% match on the passport. Other thing mentioning passports is definitely check your passports now to make sure your expiration date is good. I always like to say for like 6 months from when you return home. All right. Double check your passports and make sure everything is good with that. By the time we go on our trip, it's hard to say if we're going to have a visa because things, sometimes Europe will put things out and they just sort of chug along and they just don't really come to be for quite a while. But let's assume that you're going to have to do that and you're seeing some of those things in the news. That's not a big deal. That is an online application and you will pay about $7 for the visa. It's good for 3 years and it's nothing to even worry about. All right. And so when it comes time for that, I'll be sure that you have the information you need just to go ahead and get that visa. All right. So we can check that off. The flights, this is an important tidbit about the flights, is even though you're traveling with friends and maybe you booked at the same time and you're coming out of the same airport, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be on the same flights. Okay. After COVID, a lot of things changed, as we know, but the cruise lines, for instance, some of those things that we used to say, you could pay a few extra dollars and then you could be traveling with your friends and this and that. So that went away, at least for Norwegian Cruise Line, and I'll refer to them as NCL. So we no longer have that. So don't be dismayed or disappointed if you're not traveling with your friends, okay? Because we're all going to end up in the same spot. And although it's always fun to be with our friends and family, in this case, I just want to prepare you so you're not disappointed if that doesn't happen, okay? Once the cruise line does the airline ticketing and you're set to go, depending on who you're flying on, you may be able to upgrade it if you wish. NCL will give you a hard, no, that's not possible. That's just sort of their policy. But many people can upgrade certain tickets issued on certain airlines. Seat request, things like that. Again, once things get ticketed, then we can go in and we can get seat assignments, things like that. Special request. If you feel that you might need some assistance in the airport, and by that I mean wheelchair assistance, or you can't do a lot of walking, like let's just say, for instance, we have a connection through Frankfurt because Frankfurt's been very popular lately as a Europe airline. Lufthansa and going through Frankfurt has been really good. So if that's the case and you're like, wow, I don't know if I can do all this walking, you want to put that in like make a special list, because it's always something you can refuse, but it's not something that you can get that easily when you deplane. So if you think you're going to be, maybe you've had a hip replacement, a knee replacement, or you're not feeling so hot, you may want to have that lined up. Like I said, you can always decline it, but it's not as easy just to kind of stay off to the side and then wait for the little cart to come get you. Now things are pretty much automated and in a system, and there would be a greeter at as when you deplaned, and they would have your name and they would see that you reserved that transportation. And so things are like pretty well organized, especially in Germany. They really have it pretty much to the T. So any special services, you can let me know anytime, and I'll just put that into your record. And some other things too is any dietary restrictions, special meals, low salt, things like that, kosher, any type of meal like that you might need. again, you let me know so that we are prepared and have a list all ready to go when we can put that in. So here's a question from Barbara Kiefer. If my passport includes my middle name and the cruise confirmation does not, should I fix it? Yeah, let's fix it. Let's have your passport a 100% match on your Norwegian Cruise Line record, because Norwegian Cruise Line will take that record, and that's what they're going to work off of for the airline tickets. So if for some reason it's wrong, then when the ticket is issued, what ends up happening, it becomes really a pain in the neck. And it involves actually sometimes purchasing another ticket close to departure. And you don't want to do that. Okay, so just make sure that it's a match. Denise, please send confirmation to me for Joyce. Okay, and Nancy. Okay, I'll do that, making a note. So yeah, use the chat to just kind of say if you have any questions or anything like that, just drop them in there.
Thank you.
Right. Yep, you're welcome. So, all right. So I beat the drum on those darn airline tickets. Now, your special needs, gate assistance, dietary restrictions, anything like that, also really important. And understanding that the flights will be released. Norwegian Cruise Line says from 45 to 30 days is when we get that information. There's only so many flights out of these airports, BWI or wherever we're flying out of. So, you sort of can have a feel for what it might be. Most definitely, they are going to be overnight, and which is great. And most definitely, for those of us going out of BWI, we're going to be connecting because there's no nonstop from BWI to Athens. Okay. Gratuities, I had mentioned that they are included, and we already put those into your reservation. And the reason we did that is because between now and from when we depart, they could actually increase. But once they're in place on your booking, that won't change. Okay, so that's why you have your prepaid gratuities on your booking, because one way or another, they're going to get on your booking, whether you wait till you get on the ship or whether we do it now. All right. So yeah, we can check that off. We have that covered. Are the flight tickets included in the price? That's from Jane. Yes, they are. This is the 2-for-1 promotion, which made it so, so darn good on the pricing, was that it was the 2-for-1, because I just did tickets for somebody just yesterday traveling to Athens, and they were nearly $1,700 each. So it's nice that we can take advantage of that. There will be a Facebook group, okay? And I will put that in place. And we had one with our last group, and in it, we're able just to put a lot of different content, a lot of info. If you're not on Facebook, do not worry about it, because all the information I get from the NCL website. I just chunk it down into different categories, right? So all the information is there. So again, if you are looking for something in particular, the little hashtag, right? You have a hashtag. So say you're curious about dining. So within the group, it's a shortcut. You could go in the little search, the little eyeglass, and put a hashtag and put dining. And that'll drop you right down to what you're looking for. Or hashtag gratuities, or hashtag beverage plan. And these little shortcuts will get you to the information. You don't have to be techie to figure this out. You'll get the hang of it. And if you don't, I don't like wasting time when I can't find something online or techie. It just makes me crazy. So I would say text me. All right. The phone, the numbers that you have for me, you can text me on and just say, what was that again? it's much easier and it's less stressful for you. So look for that coming your way. I'm going to take a breather and I'm going to ask you, do you have some questions that you would like to ask or something that you're not sure about? You can either put your hand up, you can use a little hand thing there and put your hand up, or you can just shout out. Let me unmute everybody. Okay.
Somebody have a question.
Okay, Diane.
Well, we all have a question, our little group. Do you have the option of flying out of Philly? And is there nonstop from Philly?
Okay, so again, yes. And Diane, you are out of Philly. Okay. So
we are good.
You are out of Philly. Yep. So so that's a good thing. Now no, we don't have with the 2-for-1 air, we don't have the that's the trade-off. We can't request the nonstop. Will you get it? Maybe. Right? You could, because Philly's a hub and there's nonstop, but it's not a guarantee. And you can't even request it and say, gee, I'll pay more to have that. Okay.
Okay.
But I will say our flights were pretty good last time for the large group that we had. And I don't think we really had much of a problem, I would say. But you are out of Philly. So even though I keep saying we're out of BWI, yeah, that's just because that's sort of where we started, but we're flying out of all of the different airports.
Okay.
Okay. Who else? Yep. Okay.
Hey, Denise.
Hey. Can you unmute yourself?
Am I muted?
Yeah.
There I am. Hi.
There you are. Perfect.
I'm
Okay.
Mike White and my wife Kathy. Hi.
Hi guys. Welcome.
We're we've talked a little bit about the possibility of maybe combining this cruise with maybe go to Rome and do Rome and Florence and then over to Athens. But it sounds, the flight sounds like that could really throw a wrench in those works. And is it something that you recommend not doing because the flights are already kind of together for the trip?
It's definitely something that we can look into for you. If you're thinking about doing that, if you're thinking about going to Rome, then we would just get together and take a look at that and see what that looks like.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I guess my question was also about airfare, because they are offering 2-for-1. Does that mean we have to stay to their schedule, like the pre and the post and things like that? Because my experience in that is that a lot of cruise lines want you to stay to you arrive the day that the cruise line goes, unless you take their pre to or post. No?
That's a great question. No, you don't have to do that. Sorry for the feedback. I don't know why. But no, you don't have to do that. And we have the ability to do our own deviation within Norwegian Cruise Line's air. Okay. And so that's not a problem. That won't affect, but they allow you 2 days before or 2 days after or both, but that's it. That's their max. So that's not a problem. I believe I saw John Klados get on the call. John, are you there? If you're unmute yourself. Oh, there you are. Oh my goodness, there you are, John. Oh my goodness. Well, John, okay. We're gonna shift gears a little bit because I want to turn it over to John, because John is he's someone that I have worked with through the years. He got started in the business in 1980, like me. He is now the vice president of group sales at Perilla Tours. More than 30 years in the business. He has created many different group travel programs for many companies that you're familiar with, like Trafalgar and Key Tours. And he was also over at Homeric Tours as the VP of Marketing and Sales. That's when I first met John. And John did for for a good client of mine, in the footsteps of St. Paul over in Greece a few years ago. And it was amazing. And that's another really strong suit that John also brings to the table in his position. He has been around the block. You saw I gave a little bio on him, many radio station, television networks, trade publications. And his knowledge and interest in travel is very deeply rooted. His parents are ancestors from Greece, and his dad was an ancient Greek and medieval history professor at Columbia University. So he sort of got John started in, I guess, his love for travel and especially his love for the faith-based travels. So I am going to turn it over to you, John. I know you had a really busy day, and it looks like before we do, Michael, do you want to unmute yourself? And you got a question? We can't hear you. Unmute yourself. All right, we'll come back to you then if you can't do that. Okay.
Denise?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Lisa. I just have a quick question. I'm sorry I'm not able to get on video at the moment.
Okay, it's fine.
If you have a 2-for-1, you're sharing a room with somebody and you have your 2-for-1 thing, but the other person wants to go early and do the 2 days before, but the one person doesn't. How does that affect the price?
So what would happen in that case is the person who wants to go early, all right, would basically be coming in early for the 2 extra nights as a single. So that person would pay the single supplement. It would not affect your price while on the cruise. Does that make sense?
No, say that one more time. Oh.
Okay, so while you're on the cruise together, all right, that price is fixed. If your friend wants to deviate and she wants to come in 2 days earlier, but you do not, then she could do that. And then she would come in. And if she's doing our package, which John is going to talk about in a minute, then she would be a single in that room unless she had a roommate or someone else that wanted to join her. But otherwise, she would come in as a single. She would do the 2 nights in Athens. And then when you fly into Athens, then you would both meet up and board the ship. And
okay,
begin
so that
your cruise.
doesn't, so it doesn't affect the airfare price of the 2-for-1 deal that we're all getting right now.
It should not. I will verify it just to be sure, but I think she can deviate. And I'll let you know, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, okay. Michael, you look unmuted.
Hey, hi Denise, it's Kathy.
Hi.
Gotta ask the question.
Oh, no, your recorded message blocked the whole screen.
So,
We couldn't get beyond it. I'm
Okay.
sure to cover it, but we only knew of a pre-cruise. Now you're talking about a pre and a post. So I'm sure he's going to cover that.
John is going to cover it. I'm really going to encourage that you do pre, okay, before. That's really how it has been. The reservations have been coming in. And
Oh, is it the same thing? Or
yes, but it'll be the same thing. Yes, but we do need to meet certain numbers in order to make sure that we have our tours. So how it's coming right now is everybody is coming in free. I'll tell you, that has contacted me. I have not had anybody post yet. So, and then Carrie, I see your comment, might not be traveling on the same flight. Yeah, we can talk about it, when we get together, but you and your roommate are traveling together, okay? But you might not be traveling with the rest of your crew. And you might be. I mean, on our last cruise, we had a lot of people all traveling together on the same flights, but it just cannot be guaranteed by Royal Caribbean at this time, when they're doing round trip fares for like 800, I guess, a person or something like that. Yeah, it's not something, but we can talk more about it. Okay, let's turn it over to John to just kind of shake things up a little bit and talk about Athens, talk about our private cruises, and take it from there. John, you ready?
I'm gonna try to be.
Are you,
Hi, everyone. It's very nice to meet you all and see you all. My apologies for running a little bit late. It's been one of those terrible days, but it's all good now, thank goodness. So, is everyone here going to be thinking about taking the pre cruise? Great. So basically, what's going to happen is you'll arrive at the airport. We'll have a motor coach waiting for you, and that's what we want to try to get everybody to kind of arrive around the same time on the transatlantic flight, give or take, so we can have a coach waiting for you. If you're coming in a lot later, let us know. We can either put together a private transfer for you. Of course, it'll be an additional charge, or you can just grab a taxi from there and go right into the city, whatever's easier for you. We'll be staying on day of arrival for the pre. We'll be bringing you, first of all, to the Divine Acropolis Hotel, which is a beautiful hotel. Right, every room, 99% of those rooms have an Acropolis view. So I can almost guarantee you're going to have an Acropolis view, and I'll make it a point to make sure you guys get that. So and it's beautiful there. So once you get settled there and you relax and you shower, this and that, we have a beautiful dinner set up on the foot of the Acropolis, with the Acropolis being the backdrop, which is just absolutely stunning. The restaurant is an excellent restaurant. It's a 4-star restaurant. The food is fantastic. It's all fresh. Nothing is frozen or brought in. It's really, really a wonderful restaurant. So we'll be spending some time over there, enjoying and relaxing and unwinding. And then, of course, we bring you back to your hotel for the rest of the evening. The next day, you'll have pretty much a full buffet breakfast. And then at some point, let me mention this too, I apologize. We're going to include water and wine during the dinners. We're also going to have Greek music and dancing. There'll be a whole show there. So it'll be a lot of fun. If you sit real close to the stage, be prepared to be pulled up to the stage and start dancing with all the dancers there. So if you don't want to dance, sit in the back of the room. Don't sit in the front of the room, because you definitely will be pulled up there. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So get ready for that. So anyway, yeah. So we'll bring you back to the hotel. You'll relax for the rest of the evening. Next morning you'll have breakfast, and we'll begin our Athens City tour. And the Athens City tour has a lot to offer. Of course, the Acropolis being the highlight, but you'll get to see all sorts of things like the original. You'll see the Olympic, where the original Olympics were built. The new Olympic Stadium during the when the Olympics were held there after 9/11, if you remember. So you get to see all the structures and all the antiquities in the area that are just there. There's a changing of the guards, which is in walking distance from where your hotel will be, and that happens every hour. And it's really interesting to watch them come around the side into their spots over there. So you'll get to see that as well. And it'll just be a lot of fun. And then from there, basically the other half of the day will be free, so you can just relax and do a little bit of shopping at the Plaka district. And let me see something here else. Yeah. And the next day, when you get up after breakfast at the hotel, our guide will meet you at the hotel. The guide will instruct you as to what time to be ready at the lobby after breakfast. So make sure you take a good note on that. We're going to go see Delphi. We're going to go to a Delphi excursion. It's about, maybe, if there's no traffic involved, it's about an hour or so by motor coach, maybe a little less. And Delphi, if you remember, did anybody here see the movie with the Spartans? Anybody see that movie? Right. So you remember that one spot where the 3 women were like giving them the future information and what's going to happen and whether he's going to win, whether Leonidas is going to win or lose a war and all of that. That's in Delphi. That's where Delphi is. And the ruins there are absolutely spectacular over there. So we're going to spend some time over there. We're going to have lunch there as well. And that's going to take about a good, altogether, I would say a good 6 hours for the excursion. It's a beautiful excursion. Then we'll head on back to the hotel to freshen up and so on. And the rest of the evening will be yours. And the following morning, we're gonna shoot over to the pier so you can board your ship. So that's the pre. Now, Denise is open. I'm open. That if some of you say, I was listening to a gentleman earlier saying that he's thinking of maybe earlier, maybe coming in even earlier. If it's available, and then you go to Denise, tell her what you're thinking. Denise will come to me. We will see if we can try to get you in even earlier. So if you want to spend more nights in Athens beforehand, we can do that for you if you want. Or you can take the option of doing the pre and the post. And if you do the post and you've already done the city tour and the Delphi tour, let's say, we can replace the Delphi tour with a Messenia Epidaurus excursion, for example, and we can figure out something out for the city tour to make it up since you've already seen that. I don't want everybody to see the city, do the city tour twice, of course. So there's a bit of flexibility there that we can work with to make it easier for you if you like.
John, just want to pop in real quick because I did make sure that I included that we would cover, have all of their transportations,
Good.
Depending on how the flights are. So we're covered on that.
Good.
And
Wonderful.
Yep.
Wonderful. So I think then we start heading to the ship, and then we have the excursions on the ship. So the beauty of what Nancy did here is that all the excursions will be 100% private. In other words, it's just going to be the group. There won't be any strangers jumping on the motor coaster like they normally do. First come, first serve, and they grab their favorite seat and this and that, and everybody's pushing everybody aside and all that kind of good stuff. So everything will be private, just with you guys only on there. So that's a bit of fun. And then let's see here. So the shore excursion, we're going to start up with Kusadasi, or in Ephesus, basically. Has anyone ever been to this place before? You have. I see Joyce Levine raising her hand there. It's really a remarkable antiquity there. The Celsius Library is really something to see. It's almost hard to describe. Best thing I would tell you is go online and just put in the word Ephesus, and you'll get to see some magnificent photos of those ruins. It's a whole city. You can see the original chariot wheels that wore down the marble floors in that area there. You get to see things that are one of the largest stadiums that is there also, that you'll get to see. I think it houses something like 18,000 people, something along those lines. And you'll get to see some very interesting historical pieces in Ephesus as the years went on, and when their belief system started changing in regards to religion. It went from multi-gods and this and that to eventually believing what we believe today. And you'll see that all through the structures and the marble statues that they made there, and it's still there for everyone to see. It's really truly a remarkable place, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so after Kusadasi, which is on the 26th of August, on Monday, on August 27, you end up in Istanbul. And Istanbul is just, has anyone here been to Istanbul before? No. So Istanbul, as far as I'm concerned, is an extension of Greece, basically, right? Because back then it was Constantinople, right? And it was all part of Greece and so on and so forth. But you're going to see there a lot of the ancient ruins there. And the city is absolutely a very pretty city, very clean. People are very, very friendly. The food is very similar to Greek food. So we're gonna visit things like the Blue Mosque, which is really interesting with all the blue tile, and it's a huge, huge mosque, and it's really something to see. We're going to see Hagia Sophia. If you know the history of Hagia Sophia, during the Byzantine era, which is what they protected before Solomon the Great won the battle and took over and established Turkey and so on. We're going to see the Hippodrome and the Grand Bazaar. So be prepared for the Grand Bazaar, because if you like to shop, there's something like 15,000 stores there, you know, so you can definitely negotiate on everything. And if it isn't anything, if it's something that you want and they won't negotiate, just start walking away. You'll probably find it the next store right next door to it. So you won't have a problem with that. And it's fun, but be careful, because you can literally get lost in the Grand Bazaar and have a hard time getting out. So I would say breadcrumbs in a little bag as you're walking around, if you want. But no, it's really, it's something to experience, I have to say, at the Grand Bazaar. I have not experienced anything similar to that. I've been to Morocco, which is something like that, but nothing like the Grand Bazaar, as far as the level and the quality of goods that are there and the cleanliness that's in there. I think you'll be very pleased with that. So that, as you can see, I put down the date, the times. So, you know, it's a full day, as you can see here, 5:30, 8:45 in the morning. We get started. We have lunch at a beautiful restaurant there, and then, of course, as you can see, you have a short walk, and then you arrive at Galata Port, which is a brand new port that Turkey has built, and it just came online, I think, about a year ago or so. And it's really an interesting port, but something very different. You'll see, for example, where your ship will be parked. I don't know if you can see my hand or not. The ship will be, let's say, on this side, and this will be the walkway for people. When the ship is ready to have the people board, literally the wall comes down like this, so you can walk on the ship. It's really something to see. I personally have never seen it before, so I think you're going to find that very interesting. And then we then go back to the Greek islands. We go to Heraklion, the largest Greek island of all the Greek islands, and we're going to see the Palace of Knossos. Back in ancient ruined times, that palace was designed in a way where you can say that they almost developed air conditioning, but it's the way they built it to allow the wind to be able to go through the whole palace, and everybody can feel, you know, relaxed and relieved, and they're not in a hot box or anything like that. They figured it out, and it's really very, very well preserved, and I think you're going to really enjoy it when you see it. I really do. It's going to be memorable. And the island of Rhodes, when you do the city tour, you're going to find it to be really also spectacular. The Knights of John went there after they lost a battle in Israel from Solomon the Magnificent, and they built this entire city in Rhodes there. You look at it and you go, how did these people do it without modern machinery, like the pyramids, for example. But and it's not your typical Greek island in regards to the architecture and all of that. It's something very, very different. But I don't want to give too much information on that, because I want you to also experience it for yourself. But I think you're going to find it to be really, really something else also. You know, the Greek islands are really, I mean, I'm a little prejudiced because I am Greek. So, so forgive me for that, but I really find the Greek islands to be something very, very special. And Rhodes is a very, very interesting island. I think you're going to really enjoy it. You're really, really going to enjoy it there. And so you get private English. And then, of course, Santorini. Santorini is the most, people feel that it's the most beautiful island in the Mediterranean. I kind of agree with that. We are going to do a winery tour there, which will be a lot of fun. There'll be like some finger food there and a whole bunch of different glasses of wine, and people are now realizing in this country that Santorini, because of its altitude, the soil is very, very rich there. And the wines are really, really very, very tasty. And I think if you're a wine connoisseur, I think you're going to be very happy with the wine selections that will be offered to you in Santorini. And Santorini is that all the whitewashed buildings and the dome, and they have hotels there that are literally hanging off the cliff. So your view is of the caldera, which is spectacular. There really isn't enough to say about Santorini. It's just a very magical island, and I'm worried that you guys are not going to want to leave. You're going to stay there, and the ship's going to take off without you. That's my concern, Denise. So we're going to have to be careful here. We got to do a head count.
I know. Some might want to stay.
If you ask me to turn my back and I didn't see that happen, I'll do that for you.
I know. Don't know anything.
But yeah, I mean, has anyone here been to the Greek islands before? Santorini, for example, and all of that? Oh, you have, but yeah. How'd you like it? Yeah, I'm sorry, your mic is off. I know you're
Unmute
not
yourself.
Bob, but yeah, but your microphone is off. There you
Yeah,
go.
it is the prettiest place I've ever seen. It's
There you go.
breathtaking.
It is. It really is. And it's so have your camera, your iPhones ready, your cameras and all that, because you're gonna be taking a million photos. I know it. And you may be very lucky. I hope that you're lucky, because you may see a wedding. There's weddings all the time in Santorini, right in the streets, a bride and the groom, and then they have the groom usually comes in on the bride comes in on a donkey. Then they have a whole percussion, a band behind it, similar to The Godfather. When Al Pacino was in Sicily and he went to he married that girl, and they had that whole little band and everything following. The same thing, and it's very heartwarming, and it's just very, very ethnic, for Greece, and it's you're gonna enjoy it, and I really hope that you get to see a wedding there. Your chances are very good, by the way, to see one. So. And I'll keep an eye on that, Denise. You and I will discuss that. And if I hear, and I'll check with my offices over there, and if there's a wedding heading there, we'll direct you to go see the wedding, just because it's something very different,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But
and
wear good walking shoes, because
yes,
as you're traveling around and exploring the town, it's
that's correct.
uneven and
Yeah,
steps.
it's uneven. There's a lot of stairs. She's absolutely right. Sneakers I would prefer that everyone wore sneakers.
Yes.
When you arrive there, I'm not sure about your particular ship, Denise. Chances are they're probably bringing you through the back way of the island. I'm not really sure, but if you ended up in the front part with the caldera, men, I would suggest, and everybody, especially men, don't take the donkey on the way back down, because it hurts like hell. Trust me on that one. My octave in my voice went up three octaves after I took that ride. So, you're going to want to take the cable car back and forth. It's a lot more comfortable. Trust me on that one. But it's a lot of fun. It really is. And they have wonderful little shops there, for souvenirs and things of that nature. And, the whole island, the towns are just spectacular. They're just gorgeous. Pictures don't even do it justice. You have to, once you go there, you're going to realize that for yourself, for sure. But the Akrotiri excavations is also wonderful excavations back in ancient times. It's believed that the entire civilization there disappeared during the what some historians feel that it was a tsunami that took half the island straight down, and a lot of people obviously perished because of it. Regardless of whether it was a tsunami or whether the island literally collapsed on its own or whatever, it's very interesting to see. You're going to see a lot of hints, let's say, of that during the Akrotiri excavations, and it's an antiquity spot for people to see, and I think you're going to really, really like it there. And let's see what else we have going on here. Yeah, and Ia is a stunning town in Santorini. It's pronounced Ia, O-I-A. It's spelled, but it's pronounced Ia, just so you know. Yeah, and I think that's it for the Greece portion, correct, Denise?
I think so,
Yeah.
John. I think you covered everything. I want to add this to also, because I know this is on some people's mind, because Norwegian Cruise Line gives a perk of $50 per shore excursion. So, there are 5 shore excursions, but people have said, well, can we use them? So the answer is you can't use them, but if you decide to go on the free and do the private tours, and you combine it together, each person will save $100, okay? Which is the same as $200 in a room. And then so you're not going to lose anything. So that's the most important part I want you to know. And then you still have that perk because on Mykonos, we have nothing planned for that island. So you really could actually use it. So when you decide to do your stay and you're going to go in early and you're going to do the private tours, then yes, you would receive a $100 per person discount off of those prices combined. You saw the 2 prices on your flyers. So you have those, you see $988, and then you see the other one was $698. So you would end up saving $100 per person. Okay. So it becomes a wash. So you don't have to feel like you're missing something if you were not to do an NCL cruise. And pretty much to what John said, which is why I really wanted to offer these private cruises, it being private excursions, is so that, when you sign up with the with the group, by the time we get to that point, I pretty much know who's traveling with who and what groups and friends are staying together. So it does make it a little bit more organized and less stressful, and you're together with your crew, and much nicer than just trying to get on whatever bus you're being directed to for the city tour. So, the goal here is to really give you a great experience while you're there, and to really maximize your time while you're in Athens so that you don't feel like you're being pushed, but that you're seeing all the most important things that you want to see. And of course, the hotel, I know some people in our group that aren't on the call tonight, they were very familiar with it. They had used it before many other times through their businesses. So I know you will be thrilled with the location. And I know that you're going to just enjoy what we have planned for that. So like I said, I have known John, and we had worked together when he was over at Homeric Tours. So I know that you're getting the best. And people said, well, how did you pick and choose these tours? And so for that, when I was working with John, I really just relied on his expertise to say, what's really worth seeing when we're at these places, when we're on these islands. And that's how we came up with the offers. Okay. So, John, you have anything else for us?
I'm not sure how many hours are you guys going to be in Mykonos?
Let's see. I don't know if yeah, I thought I printed that itinerary.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'm
can
asking-
kind
I'm
of take a peek.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm only asking that because my personal preference is to do the mall walk in Mykonos, because it's the smallest of all the Greek islands. There are no automobiles allowed in the town itself. When the island was built back in the day, it was built with narrow streets purposely to make it difficult for pirates that would come to the island and try to, obviously steal things and all of that, to make it difficult for them to be able to maneuver and ransack through all of the people's homes and so on and so forth. But it is such a beautiful little island, similar to Mykonos, which, Santorini, but more of a flatland. It's not all hilly. You see the background of Denise, that's Santorini back there. There you go. That's Santorini. That's what you're going to be looking at. That's the side of the caldera where you see the ocean in front of you and all of that. So, but don't feel like you're missing anything if you're not going to do Mykonos, because really it's going to be more fun going around, shopping, sitting down, having some coffee, maybe having some lunch there on the island, and meeting the people and so on. But either way, there is also most probably the optional excursion in Mykonos is most likely going to be Delos, the island of Delos, which is outside of Mykonos. It's a small boat ride, for about 20, 25 minutes over to the island of Delos. Delos is an open air museum. No one lives on the island except for the curator by himself. That's it. The whole island is all ruins. There's Cleopatra's, one of her mansions there, and some other buildings. But the truth is also, I'm sorry.
Oops.
Did somebody say? Oh, the truth is though, in my personal opinion, that really it isn't like you're going to see a structure that you can make out. For example, that it's Cleopatra's mansion, right? You're going to see maybe 4, 5, 6, 8 rows of stone, and the rest of it is not there anymore. So there's a lot of that on the island of Delos. If you're into archaeology and you're into history a lot, then yes, go see it, because it's, you'll get the background on it. But if it's going to be to you just another bunch of ruins, then hang out in Mykonos and enjoy it. Go swimming, do whatever you like, and just enjoy the beautiful island and the friendly people that are there.
Denise,
Yes.
question for John. For roads, how much damage is there, and is that opened up to tourism?
It's opened up to tourism. That's a very good question. There's obviously damage there, but it didn't hit it hit more on the outskirts more than anything. The areas that you're going to see, that you're going to visit, were not affected, thank God, knock on wood. So you should be okay. You should be okay. But very good question.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or?
Any more questions?
I just want to, Denise, it's Marie. So with the Athens pre, we come in 2 days earlier. Is that what it is?
Yes, with the Athens pre, you come in 2 days earlier. Okay. So, so you're going to be there 2 nights earlier.
Okay.
All
All right. So we would leave the 23rd instead of the 25th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Go ahead. Unmute yourself, though. Can you unmute? We see you, but there you go.
Hear me?
There you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm Darlene.
Hi,
It
Darlene.
says iPad too, but I'm Darlene. My
Okay.
question is, according to the itinerary, I know that we're going to those different places that he just went over. So if we decide not to take the package of all the excursions and the tours, then we're on our own to do and see what we want?
Yes. So if you decide that you're not going to do the tour package, okay?
Mhm. And the tour
Then-
package that I'm referring to is the, I think it's the second one.
The short
The 5
excursions.
excursions.
Yep.
Yes.
So if you decide you're not going to do that, then you can pick and choose and spend your time however you wish. Yep.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Who else? Anybody else? You may think of some questions after, but you just let me know.
I will say, if I may jump in, Denise, real quick.
Yes.
That the guides that we use, of course, are licensed and educated, and they're also specialists in the field. Some of them are professors that will be joining you with a history background. So you're going to be you're going to have some of the best people joining you for the excursion that are going to show you the sites and discuss things with you. So I think you're going to be very pleased with what you're going to walk away with and what you.
No, I would think so too. I like tours. I like guided tours and.
Yeah, the guides are terrific. Yes,
Yeah,
and
they really are.
yeah, they are just the best. Yeah, the best out there.
And then I do have one other question. And I
Sure.
know that someone has been trying to ask this question. How many people are in the group?
So we have a big group. There is, at present, there's about 200 people in the group.
Oh, okay.
I want to go. That sounds like a lot of fun. Wow, that's a big party, I'll tell you.
It's a
But
big
keep this
party,
keep-
party.
Keep
Yeah.
this in
And
mind, yeah, keep this in mind that the motor coaches, we're not gonna put more than 40 people per motor coach. So it is like you're gonna have 200 people in a motor coach. So,
Yeah.
you know, you're not gonna feel the 200 if you're worried about that, let's say, for example.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a good number, it's a great number.
yeah, and you know, there's always going to be, you know, some drop-offs as we get toward the end, of course, that always happens. But we are a nice group, and it's a nice group of like just a lot of, you know, friends of friends or family or people told this one and that one. So it's, you know, it seems like this big group, and probably once you're on the ship, you might not see that much of them. But it will be nice when we are doing our tours because, well, I'm going, so I'm going to be there. And, you know, if you've traveled with me before, you know that I do assign seats on our tours. And I do it like based on how reservations come in. But like John said, like, you know, and keeping groups together, keeping friends together. That's the other part. So it just makes it so much less chaotic when you're getting started and you're getting on the bus, because you know that Marie and her gang are going to be here, and it just makes it a lot less smoother. And
Plus,
that's
it's
really
easier for you to do a head
yeah.
count.
I mean, it's not like super rigid and unchangeable,
Yeah.
but it's just really to keep the flow going and keep everybody together that wants to be together.
Yeah.
So I see
Thank you.
Kathy, your hand's up. Where's Kathy? Did you have a question?
Oh, that's me.
Oh,
I'm
that's you.
Kathy. Hello, Kathy. Actually, the pre-trip sounds really good, and we hadn't considered that. But and if we decide that we do not do the pre or a post, do we still have an opportunity to tour the Acropolis?
So that really depends on when your flight gets in, okay, and when your flight is departing. That would be on the NCL part. If you're going to do something like that, you might have to end up hiring a driver or having somebody take you over within the amount of time before the ship was to sail. So for instance, let's say your morning flight comes in at 7 o'clock in the morning and you get through customs and it's too early to get to the ship or whatever. Maybe you could do an excursion over to the Acropolis, but yeah, I'm fairly certain that. Yeah.
It sounds like the pre is the way to be assured of that.
Yeah, in my opinion.
And it
that's
is
what
a
was.
guided tour of the Acropolis as well?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing is with what Denise is mentioning, and yeah, you could do that if you want to go off the plane, but keep in mind, you're gonna have your luggage with you also. So
Right.
you're gonna have to figure that one out also, you know, while you're up in the ruins, seeing the Acropolis, seeing the Parthenon and the museum, which is right next to it over there. So that
Yeah, the
could be a little
museum's
bit of a
amazing.
yeah, the museum is amazing, right?
Amazing.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of a logistic problem if you come right off the plane and go right to the Acropolis, you know. But you know, maybe the cab driver with a few extra euros will stick around and wait for you. I don't know, but it's, you know, I wouldn't trust the cabbie, you know. I just wouldn't do that, but you know, that's something you can decide.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. It's you know, if it's doable for you, it's great to go in early. It's great to relax a little bit ahead of time, get past the jet lag, and you know, be pretty refreshed before you get on the ship. So that's why I lean more toward the front, because usually toward the end I'm about ready to head home. But you know, we're all different for sure.
Yeah, we
Jane,
did the tail end for those people who it was just impossible for them to come beforehand. But I 1000% agree with Denise in what she said. You're much better off doing it pre over post, because you're going to want to go home after a beautiful cruise and everything else involved. I totally agree.
Yeah, Jane, your hand's up.
Yeah, hi, Denise and John, thank you. This sounds wonderful. The excursions sound terrific. I'm just curious, with a group this large, John, are you going to have several tour guides to break the group into smaller groups?
Each motor coach will have its own guide. Okay. each motor coach. There's no way in the world one guide can speak to 200 people, you know?
Right.
Don't try to do a
Okay.
head count. Can you imagine trying to do a head count?
Yeah. Okay, thanks a
Yeah,
lot
so not to
for
worry.
that.
Every coach
Okay.
will have its own guide, you know, and they'll also be we're also going to have on hand a what do you call it, a tour escort, so to speak, who's going to help in the background of things along with the guide, you know, to make sure everything is smooth and it's run properly. So no worries
Okay.
there at all. No worries there
Thank
at all.
you.
Jane. You're
Thank
welcome. You're welcome.
Mhm. Kate? Oh, I think you might be muted, Kate.
Okay, Lewis.
I don't think your mic's working.
Yeah, you don't look muted.
No, she's unmuted, but the mic's not working.
Yeah. Kate, maybe do you want to put anything in the chat? It says, is there an opportunity to tour Acropolis if you're if you're not doing the pre-stay? Is that your question?
I think we answered that too.
We
yeah.
answered that one. Yeah. Do you want to type another question? And we can answer that. Take your time. Yep. Okay. Travel insurance. Oh, Kate, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes. So I'll be sending you an email of the two options that Norwegian Cruise Line offers. Okay. Some people also have an annual plan and some people have their own insurance. So I'll send you the information so that you can make your decision. And then at time of final payment, that's when you're going to make payment for the insurance. Okay. They have two plans. They have a platinum and a standard. And it's just a little bit difference in coverage. And, you know, they have a cancel for any reason type of thing. And it just, the difference in the two of those is the percentage of what you would get back. And I'm not sure if it's in the form, I believe it's in the form of a future cruise credit. It's either like 90% for the platinum and 75% for the other. So when it comes time, that'll be a separate email, and then you'll have some options on the insurance and some recommendations. Okay. Dottie.
I just wanted to double check. I think John did a wonderful job explaining everything, but I was just wondering if you will be sending out an itinerary listing, just the highlights and everything he gave, but the highlights of, because my husband wasn't able to be here tonight with me to watch it. So, and it sounds very exciting, but I was just wondering if we would get that itinerary.
There is, Dottie. There's an itinerary, and I will send that to you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. And I have to backtrack on one thing. I did say we're going to have, and we still do have, the $100 per person discount, but I want to put that on a booking deadline of September 30. So we can get our ducks in a row and we know how many buses we need and how much this and that. So for that special, book by September. You don't have to wait till September 30. I think we already have a bus full, to be honest with you, but you can, do it sooner. I'm like, do it sooner than later, because this way we just have plenty of time and we can really tighten things up without any rush or fuss. Okay. Because all of a sudden it's going to be Christmas. It's going to be New Year's, Valentine's Day, and then Easter, Memorial Day. Oh my gosh. And then before you know it, the bus is pulling up over here in Bay Forest or over there in Millsboro or wherever we're all going to be getting on. So now's the time.
All right.
Early bird gets that worm. Okay. Any other questions? Yep. Jane, your hand up, or you?
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry, Denise,
Yeah.
I put a couple of questions in the chat, but I forgot. When is the final payment on the cruise due?
Okay. April.
And, okay, go ahead. April?
I believe it's April 27, but I'll be sure to, it's on your confirmation and you'll see
Okay.
that. But you can do it whenever you want, but April 27th is the final payment.
And how do we confirm the booking on the pre and the shore excursions with you?
So you just can send me an email or give me a call or a text that you want to do this. And then I will send you a confirmation. There will be a deposit that'll be explained on there a little bit later. And terms and conditions, you'll see those as well. We're going through Perillo Tours for this land package because it's being, as you can tell, it's already under John's watchful eye here. And so you will have that confirmation when I begin to get everybody together. Okay, so for now, we have our group in place, we have our space in place, we have plenty of everything for everybody, but I do want to get things, I want to know like how many buses and how it's really starting to shape up for us as we move forward. Yep.
Anybody here see my big fat Greek wedding that came out?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I want to try to get everybody a little bit of Windex. I thought you'd like that one.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yep. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go back. I have talking about families getting together and things like that. I mean, I have some family members that said, hey, we want to go, and it's starting to turn into little reunions. So we still have some space. The early bird got the worm on this one. Well, those who started in January, of course, and the air is what creeps up on us. Okay. So if your price has been a little bit different than, say, somebody who booked in January, blame it on the air because that's where the price starts going up. So there's still availability. If you still have a couple friends that are hanging out there that may want to go, we can still take them. And, don't be afraid of the size of our group. There will be some attrition and drop off. But just for the record, my largest group I ever handled in all these years in the business was like 1,300 people to Vegas. So,
Wow.
so don't worry.
That must have been a lot of fun.
That was,
Oh my God.
they were
Oh my
all,
You didn't
they were
lose
all
anyone.
seniors.
What?
I didn't
I
lose
think that's
anybody.
what-
They
I
were
think
all
that's what I said.
seniors.
Is that where the saying came from? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Oh my
1,300 people?
gosh. That was back in the day when you could do like a 5-day to Vegas with air for like $365.
There we go.
And, and the jetway was all lined up. I'll never forget, with like a gazillion wheelchairs, right? And as soon as they got off the jetway and there were slot machines, it was a miracle. Everybody was on their feet. So yeah, so there's some history there. But we'll have a good group. It's going to be well managed. We're going to be under the good watchful eye of John through Perillo Tours. So I just hope that you're going to come with us.
I'm going to try.
Okay, John, come over with us.
Okay. You convinced
All right.
me. You twisted my arm.
All right. Okay,
Denise,
guys.
thank you so much for doing this. This is very helpful
you.
for all of
Of-
us,
of course.
just
You're
to
very welcome.
stay
Yeah.
involved
And
with it.
I'm
Yeah.
shooting to Greece at the end of September. And I'm going to go over everything on the ground with my people there to make sure you have an absolutely flawless experience. That's my
Yes.
number one priority, just so you all know.
Yes. Mm-hmm. John, I trust you. And Chris on the iPad. Yes, you can make payments periodically anytime you want. If you want to put some money down on the cruise, you have to do it through, since we're a group, you would call me and tell me you want to do it. You can't do it yourself when we're within a group. Okay. But yes, you can do that. Did I answer all the questions in here? Yep. Can we do payments? How do we confirm the booking? Just let me know that you want to do it. That's okay. Travel insurance we talked about. Mykonos, thank you, Chris. 1:30 to 10:30. Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah, so that gives you
Good,
enough
good,
time to do, that gives you enough time to do Delos if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
the 1:30 to 10:30, that's nice timing. That's nice timing.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of time. Yep. Yep. All right. So anything else? Marie, you good? You waving goodbye? Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks,
Denise
John.
Coleman.
Thank
Thank
you,
You're
you.
John.
welcome. My pleasure. Nice meeting you all.
Appreciate it all. Bye,
Hope to see you
guys.
in Greece.
Yes. All right.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.